Itsrox coming to you today with the review for Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 13, Episode 14. So if I have that kind of puffy, she just woke up look, that is because that's pretty much what it is. Just took Blue for a walk, and now I am trying to get this video done before I start work today. I had a beautiful weekend. I took Friday off, so I know today promises to be very busy. So I got to get this done so I can get to work and be focused completely on that. So you guys, the review. Let's get to it, shall we? All right, you guys, so the show opens with Kenya going to Marlo's new store in the shops at Buckhead. It is called L'Archive. And I thought maybe it was just a place where she is reselling the clothes from her closet that she doesn't wear any longer, but it looks like it's a rental, like a clothing rental place, you know, for upscale, high-end fashion. I was just like, girl, you want to take them kind of chances out here in Atlanta? I have a friend that worked at and would tell me about when they would borrow clothes for, you know, different shoots and everything, and how sometimes people just don't take into consideration, you know, that your clothes are of value and they still just kind of fuck them up. So I was like, well, Marlo, if that's what you want to do, okay. But anyway, she's got a lot of stuff. Kenya's going to go visit her. Now, Fallon is over there now. I guess we're still trying to work Fallon into the stories. She doesn't quite have anything happening so far, but we'll see as the show goes on. She's a little bit more involved. Ooh, that Fallon child, she had me laughing. Anyway, when Kenya gets there, you know, was it just me, or are we all going to have to get used to seeing Kenya and Marlo, you know, actually sitting down and talking and kind of looking like they having a good time with each other? You know, it's a little awkward. I don't never know. I'm always expecting some sort of shade to fly. And at least in that scene, it didn't. So anyway, Kenya says this is more her lane, you know, Marlo's lane, fashion, you know, maybe stay out of the hair arena. Fallon says that she's going to be having a Halloween party and that she wants all the girls to come. It's going to be at her house. You know, it's going to be a big deal. Kenya says, of course she'll come. Marlo says, oh, I can't make it, but I'll be there in spirit. Did she say why she couldn't make it? I don't remember why she said, but she won't be there. Fallon says that's perfectly fine. You know, she gets up. Okay, you guys, I'm going to get on out of here. Marlo gives her a gift bag, a take-home bag from L'Archive, and then Fallon leaves. So she and Kenya sit down. And like I said, it's weird. It's weird. Kenya asked Marlo, are you sure you're going to do this? Like, you sure you want to rent your clothes to these girls out here with these WAPs? And Marlo is just like, I know, huh? I'm sure she has some sort of clause in there where, you know, if they ruin the clothes, they're going to have to pay for it. But anyway, Kenya says, you know how these hoes are out here in Atlanta. All right. Of course, we're trying to usher in still the conversation about what happened in South Carolina. You can tell that Marlo is trying to stay neutral. It's going to be very difficult for Marlo to maneuver her own lane, you know, with Portia on this side and Kenya on the other side. So when, you know, she's talking about the girls being in there with Bolo or whatever, and, you know, Marlo is just like, but don't you think they could have been in there looking at porn? You don't think they could be in there looking at porn? No. Kenya doesn't believe they in there looking at porn. Marlo tries to get off of that subject, and let's move on to what happened the other night. So, you know, she said that she got together with the girls, Portia, Drew, LaToya, and Shamia, and while they were talking, just blurted out that Kenya's going through a divorce and that Mark is asking for alimony. And I was like, why would she tell these girls that? And Kenya was like, what? Like, right, exactly. The bitches that don't like me. So now, of course, you know, now Toya had tore her drawers with Kenya, because either you're going to be with Portia and them or you're going to be with Kenya. And I already told you guys last week that Toya plays both sides of the fence and that she better figure it out soon, or else she's not going to be trusted by anybody. Now, Kenya has to have a conversation with Toya, because this is not the first time that her trust was betrayed by Toya. So yeah, she ain't really feeling her. So, you know, we see her, Kenya later on talking to her assistant, I believe, when she was doing something, and she said that she's just gonna leave LaToya alone. You know, she can't be dealing with her and all of her foolishness. So I guess Kenya has been giving Toya the cold shoulder. Let her play with the others. Now, jumping over to Drew, we see Drew talking with her mother. We haven't seen her mother in a minute. They started off with such a bang, and now it ain't really much going on with Drew, Ralph, or her mother. But anyway, she's talking to her mom about their family tree and how she wants to go back home so she can just get to know her family and know where she came from, know her roots. So her mom starts talking about growing up. I'm assuming, segregation times in the South. She said she couldn't go to the restaurant, she couldn't go to the bathrooms, we know all the story about segregation. Drew was acting like it was her first time hearing about it though. Your eyes was all big. Girl, you didn't know nothing about segregation. Anyway, I was cracking up. I said, girl, quit acting like this is a story you ain't never heard of. But her mother starts to tell her how they have white people in her family, and Drew says, well, you're talking about the adopted family, right? Oh, as far as her mother's concerned, that's the only family that she has. She was adopted when she was a child, and she said in the 76 years that she's been alive, her family has not tried to reach out to her. Biological family has not tried to reach out to her or anything. So she don't have no interest in ever talking about them, ever knowing them. It's obvious they didn't want a relationship with her, and so she don't want a relationship with them. And the mama seems very set. That's how she feels. Drew is telling us that her son Josiah, the oldest child, remember, he is not Ralph's child. He's got a daddy who was in jail when he was born and had been there for some time. I guess when he got out, they didn't have a relationship. He wasn't involved in Josiah's life. Drew had ended up being with Ralph, and they got married, and Ralph is really the only father that Josiah has known. Evidently, she said that Josiah did meet the father. I guess he's been out of jail for some time now and met the father maybe a year or two ago. And she said it wasn't really, Josiah didn't really understand who he was and really get the concept of this is your biological father as opposed to Ralph being your stepfather. So, but now that he's a little bit older, and now that the father, the actual biological, is reaching out, wants to have a relationship with him, Drew is now feeling like, okay, maybe it's time that this happens. So now she's going to have this conversation with her son. So she's talking to Ralph about it ahead of time. And of course, she's emotional because she's like, I knew this day was going to come, but she's still not sure if she's ready for it. She doesn't want to. She's trying to keep everybody happy. Ralph is the only father that Josiah knows, and Josiah looks at him as his father, but she also doesn't want to deny the biological from having some sort of relationship with him. She doesn't want to be the one that's blamed for not putting them, together. She doesn't want to be the one that stands in the way, yet and still, she doesn't want to upset what she's got going on right now. She doesn't know how the baby daddy is living per se. He was in jail. I mean, he could be a totally different person now, and he might be trying to, do things differently, but she don't know that for a fact. So she's a little concerned about that. She's concerned about confusing Josiah. I mean, we know how these things go. This happens in real life all the time. So, she's trying to just figure it out. I actually thought Ralph was very, I was like, dang, if he hadn't started off such an asshole on the show, now he act like he got some damn sense, and, we still be looking at him like, okay, Tampa, and, the shit that you say, and male chauvinist, it seems like, or, extreme male dominant personality. But, like when he was talking to her this time, I actually thought, I was like, okay, Ralphie, damn, we be trying to like you, and you had to fuck it up at the beginning. But he was just telling her how it is important for the little boy to have a relationship with him. And, they shouldn't be the ones that's standing in the middle of it or standing in, from it happening. So yeah, we need to have this conversation with Josiah and get this done. So Josiah's sitting in the kitchen with her mother, with Drew's mother. And, they go in there, and, she's just sort of like, about, old daddy, would you want to meet old daddy? He's like, no. He's like, you don't have any interest in meeting old daddy? No. All right, that's it. No. He still is kind of young and doesn't really understand, that maybe in one day he will be, this will be something that he wants. He's not there yet. So Ralph steps in and is just like, you know, he wasn't around his biological father too much. And you know, he did miss his presence as he got older. So, you know, he did finally get a relationship with his father, and he's glad that he did, you know, even though, you know, you have old daddy and you got Ralph now, you know, you still don't want to just cut off old daddy because, you know, him and his father, Ralph and his father, you know, he loves his father, and, you know, he was glad that he did have that relationship with him. The way he broke it down, it was just better for a child to be able to understand, you know, instead of Drew just being like, you sure you don't want to talk to old daddy? That little boy was like, no, don't fuck with old daddy. But when Ralph tried to explain it to the little boy went off a no and moved on swiftly to a maybe. Okay. But he was like, no, maybe I'll be okay with it in the future. Like right now is a no, maybe later on. So Drew says she's okay with that. She's at least happy that he's not just no. I guess they'll just have to figure it out. I think that considering the way she was at the beginning of the season when she was saying that Ralph and the little boy, you know, Ralph is different with that boy than he is with their other child together. I think it would be important for this little boy to at least see if he could, you know, what could come of that relationship with his biological father, because even though they may not be doing it on purpose, if she notices that Ralph treats the little boy differently, then the little boy still might be missing something from having his own blood, having a relationship with his own blood father. So they need to keep up with that. But yeah, that was what happened with Drew and little Josiah. Okay. And we'll see what happens in the future. Now, I don't know why they threw this in the middle. It's so strange. They have all these strange little thrown in edited parts that I don't know. They did it with that scene with Candy and Todd and LaToya and Don Juan. That one was weirdly placed to me. And then this one here, when Candy is working out, you know, she's just like, I have gained 20 pounds since May. I haven't been the most motivated to work out. But now that I have this new role in a movie called Envy, I've got to get the body back together. And then that was it. I was just like, I guess they just wanted to make sure that we knew about her movie role. But I was like, oh, okay. We see Cynthia and #chill, and they look very happy. Cynthia looks like she's glowing, and she actually looks like she's floating. It's clear that she loves Mike Hill to death, okay? And I'm happy for her, because if you can find that, you know, and you're 50-something years old, you know, second time around on the marriage, you know, you got it right, you know, at least that's what you think at the beginning. I'm not being negative. I'm just saying, you know, this looks like this is her forever, and she just looks very, very, very happy and pretty. So, but she's talking to him, and she's telling him how he looked like he's glowing. You know, you look different. You look like a husband, you know, and she's looking at his ring. I was like, oh, I remember at the beginning when I used to take my ring off and put it on Mr. Hand, and he would take his ring off and put it on my thumb. We'd be laying in bed looking at each other. I was like, oh, I forgot all about them days, y'all. Anyway, they're laughing about the wedding, the fact that Cynthia's vows took 9 minutes. You know, they show clips of her talking about her son. I mean, she just really sounded like she was having a conversation. It didn't sound like vows or anything. They giggle about the post that Leon, which is her daughter Noelle's father, you guys know Leon, he put a post up in support of their marriage. You know, #chill says, that's my guy. I love #chill's voice. #chill is telling her that he thinks it's time for him to buy some property in Atlanta, you know, something that the two of them can have together. And Cynthia says, you know, she has a male dominant, you know, he's an alpha male man, and he wants to have something, you know, instead of moving in to Lake Bailey, you know, they want to have something together. I said, every man is like that. They ain't got to be no alpha or nothing. Most men do not want to move into their woman's house because they want to know that when shit get tough, you can't put their ass out. Okay, that's what that is. So yeah, let's get this shit together so I can say, no, damn it, this is my fucking house too, and I ain't going nowhere. Okay, but she can, you know, he's an alpha male. And while they're talking, she gets a call from Drew. And Drew says that her manager has been keeping her pretty busy lately, and she's got to go to New Orleans. She's thinking about taking all the girls on, show them how a girls trip really should be, and that Ralph has secured a private jet to take everybody. And, she's going to be the bigger man, and she's going to go on and invite Kenya too, because the producers told her she had to. I guess that's the next trip. How many episodes is in this season, you guys? Do you know? Somebody told me it was going to be a shortened season, but we're up to episode 14. So, how many more we got? Usually it's about 22, right? Or something like that. Yeah, but anyway, they're going to be going to New Orleans soon. We've seen the clip, so we already knew it was coming. Didn't know it was Drew's trip, though. So, you guys know she has that big, beautiful home and all of that. So she decided to turn her home, at least the entrance of her home, into like a haunted house. It was real scary and spooky and, things jumping out at you and all of this. So, she's got it all done up. And then when we see Fallon, she has totally invested in her. She is committed to this costume. She is Medusa and she looks very scary. You wouldn't think that a girl that's so pretty would look like that as a costume. So I loved her costume. She was full eyes, snake hair. The snake hair was what was really, that shit pushed it over, okay? Because they was all bouncy and shit. I was just like, girl, you did that. Anyway, the first person to get there is Cynthia in the fucking plastic, she's hand sanitizer. All right, so I was looking at Cynthia, I said, girl, that's what you came up with? She comes in at first, she's all spooked out, because this is the haunted house, remember? And then when Fallon sees her, she was just like, girl, I said I was having a Halloween party. You supposed to bring it. Like, what the fuck you got on? That ain't what she said, but that's what she should have said. That's what she might as well have said, because that was kind of how she was implying, but Cynthia was like, excuse me. Okay, this one might have missed the mark a little bit, but nobody could top when I was 50 Cent. Okay, we still hearing about fucking 50 Cent. Shamia gets there. She's an astronaut. Loved her costume. I thought she did a great job too. I was like, these girls is really going all out, minus Cynthia. Okay, Candy comes and Candy has her makeup and even has a what do they call it? A prosthetic nose up here, and she's got this hole. She's a cat. And it completely changed the look of her face, so I was with it too. I was like, okay, Candy, y'all did that. All right. Kenya comes in there and she's dressed as a Native American, I guess a warrior. She has the full feathers and I'm looking at her like, now I know they have said plenty of times that that's offensive. Nobody told Kenya that you shouldn't be doing this. I was looking like, girl, but nobody said anything when she came in. She's got the full headdress and all this on. So I was just like, oh, okay. But then Drew says, when Drew comes in, she's a Jericho cat from the movie Cats. So when she comes in, she does say that Kenya's costume is problematic, but I guess she's trying to keep the peace. But I was just like, none of her team said, you really shouldn't show up with this full feather headdress on and all that. Okay, I'm just going. But as soon as I saw it, I was like, girl, you gonna get some feedback on that. Ain't gonna be good either. So Kenya comes in and she was just like, oh, Fallon, I talked to Marlo earlier and she told me that she wasn't coming, which is too bad because, she really has great costumes and everybody is looking like, what? So now Kenya is the point of contact for Marlo. Like I said, we got to get used to the fact that Kenya and Marlo are trying this new friendship thing, So that the tone in the house is already weird because there's really no food there. If you don't do anything else, you got to feed these girls and you got to give them something to drink. Okay. Right now it's COVID, so we know you can't really have no big parties or anything. But if you're not going to have a big party, then you at least got to have a spread. She ain't got neither. She got some little boxes set up there. She ain't but this big. So, she probably just eat a little bit of anything. Anyway, I said, honey, you got Candy Buress Tucker coming to this party. Bitch, it need to be some food here. They all kind of looking around like, nigga, it ain't shit. What is we supposed to do now? It ain't no food. It ain't no drink really like that. And now we just standing around doing nothing. I guess they thought that it was going to be a few more people there. I don't know. When LaToya gets there, she is on one already. Starts out bad. She comes in, I think she's supposed to be a mermaid. You know, her face is all painted. Her costume was actually very nice as well. So she comes in, greets everybody, and then, you know, we all sit down at the table. She's just like, oh, okay, now this is nice. So this is what, you know, marrying a 65-year-old gets you. And as soon as she said that, Fallon's face was sort of like, but she didn't say anything. And then she was just like, okay, so where's the servers? You know, you have a house like this, you're supposed to have servers. I need somebody to serve me. Fallon was like, you know what? The food is right over there. You can go serve yourself. She, oh no, I don't serve myself. Not when I come place like this. And, you know, I need to be served. You need to get up and serve me. I was like, I'm not confrontational and I'm definitely not a fighter, but I'm telling you, she'd have got cussed out right then. I guess Fallon was trying to play nice because she was trying to be on this show and she was trying to, you know, she already could tell that Toya was trying to take her there. Well, she would have took me there because immediately I was offended. I was mad already for Fallon because Toya just was blatantly, it wasn't no slick shade. It was outright in your face disrespect, right? So Fallon looks at her. I even think that she ends up getting up and getting something for her, you know, just sort of like, all right, bitch. But she still doesn't say anything. So I was just like, okay, Fallon, you definitely better than me. Because I'd have been like, bitch, get the fuck out. Like Cynthia said, you can't come in my house. Like, come on, what is we doing? This is not even slick. Then Toya moves on to Drew. Evidently, Drew took LaToya home the other night. Shamia was like, you guys, when you guys had your rehearsal dinner, you know, the nieces, we got together and hung out. All right. And Drew said that LaToya got so drunk that she couldn't even drive, and Drew had a driver. So she was just like, okay, I'll take her home, you know, make sure she wouldn't want anything to happen to LaToya. But the way that LaToya is, she lucky that somebody was looking out for her ass, because I would not have been that one. I wouldn't want her to get behind the wheel, but I'd been like, that bitch going to have to sleep it off of here, because I'm not doing nothing with her. So anyway, Drew and LaToya are going back and forth, and then LaToya looks at Kenya and was like, you know what, if you're not going to be my friend, you just need to let me know and I will move on. I guess Kenya hasn't been returning her calls. So Kenya was just like, let me try to break up some of this energy that LaToya has. LaToya, can I talk to you for a second? Okay, sure. So they go and sit down. And again, LaToya's just sort of in that mood, just kind of like, let me know what's going on. You want me to leave you alone? I'll leave you alone. I'll move on. And Kenya was just like, oh, you already moved on. Okay, when you was kissing and bumping coochies with Portia. Okay, but let me just talk to you real fast. Why would you tell those girls, you know, my business, talking about the divorce and alimony? And Toya was just like, no, you know what? Those girls were trying to make you look bad. And she was like, make me look bad? How? You the one that, because look, when I was thinking about what happened, I was just like, the girl just blurted out, unless it was edited strangely, the girl just blurted out that the girl's going through a divorce and that Mark asked for alimony. Like, nobody was talking about Kenya, and nothing was, at least they, you know, if I can remember clearly, they wasn't even on that, you know, and she blurted that out. So you're the one that offered up that information. If anything, the girls actually tried to stop her from doing that. You know, Drew was like, don't be telling all her information. Don't be telling her business. And even Portia was just like, I ain't going to testify with you because you're going to get up there in church and be trying to testify for me. So they tried to tell her like, that shit ain't cool. Like, you outright, you ain't even trying to be sneaky with it. You outright telling this girl's business to all of her enemies. So Kenya's telling her how she's not being loyal to her. That's not loyalty to Kenya. And Toya yells, it is with you, Kenya. And Kenya was just like, you know what? I hate that shit. Don't yell at me. Don't raise your voice at me. And I was like, oh, now what is this? It's almost like Kenya talks to LaToya as her flunky, and like she's always got to get her together. I mean, Toya do be tripping and all, but it's just like, don't tell me not to raise my voice at you. Like, I can do what I want. So now I'm just like, and then Kenya is so mad, and Toya is laughing it off and not taking her seriously. She was just like, you know what, I can't even really be serious with you with all this that you got going on. And Kenya was just like, you know what, I can't talk to you. I can't talk to you. And I was cracking up because I was just like, you are real mad, Kenya. And LaToya does not care. Like, why is this scene so funny to watch? It almost looked like Kenya was putting on her best acting chops, because I don't even know if she cares that much. I mean, I'm sure she was mad that she would tell him that, but it was going to come out anyway. So now I'm just feeling like Kenya's just trying to give us good TV, and LaToya will not do it. She will not act right for nothing. Kenya gets up and storms out. You know, LaToya's just sort of like, okay, you know, I'm just playing. I'm sorry, you know, all of this. But now it seems that now that Toya is really 100% in this scene, like, she don't give a fuck no more. She just don't care. Kenya's like, go hang with your girl Portia, you know, leave me the fuck alone, basically. And speaking of Portia gets there, and Portia was just like, I thought this was gonna be a big Halloween party. I get here and it's just, I said, Portia, you didn't look like you was thinking that it was gonna be a big Halloween party with this Party City costume you got on. Just a little tail, you know, some cuffs, some around her neck, and some little Playboy bunny ears up here. And I was just like, not bunny, but cat ears up there. I was just like, you didn't really commit. She had on a black leggings and like some sort of like corset or black vest, you know, corseted real tight. But other than that, compared to the rest of the girls, you know, she ain't did shit, you know. So it was almost like you did know that it wasn't about to be nothing. Now, Fallon is mad about the interaction with Toya earlier. I think she's had some time to really think about it and was just like, did I really let that bitch say what she said in my house and not say nothing? Just for these cameras? So I think that Fallon was already mad at herself for not calling the bitch on that at the beginning. So when Portia gets there, you know, they all kind of sitting around the table and she's telling Portia what happened. And she was just like, you know, she came here, she was disrespectful. She gonna say that, you know, this is what marrying a 65-year-old man does for you. And Portia was just like, first of all, we gonna get it right. This is what marrying a 55-year-old man can do for you. Fallon was just like, you don't come to nobody's house and say some shit like that, right? So when Kenya and Toya comes back down, they're just finishing up their conversation. Portia sees Kenya and she was just like, Kenya came as a Native American warrior. Kenya is lame. Add lame to the list for Kenya. She is... I said, girl, yes. This one definitely missed the mark. I just honestly don't know why Kenya did that. Anyways, Toya pulls Portia to the side. They go out on the porch. And now Toya is telling Portia how Kenya is mad at her for talking to them at the niece's thing the other night, and how she's trying to make her choose whether or not she's going to be on her side or the other side. And Portia was just like, when we was talking the other night, you just blurted it out. Like, Mark is asking Kenya for alimony. We wasn't even talking about that. It was nothing about nothing. Toya's just like, well, really, I think that she's mad because we kissed. And Portia was like, but what that got to do with me? Girl, what is you saying? I told you, don't nobody understand or trust Toya. And Toya, with all of the funny things that she can say and some of the funny ways that she can be, you gonna still have to choose a team. If you're not gonna stay neutral and you're gonna be committed to just being fully offensive to somebody, you can't do it on both sides. Because what ends up happening is now don't nobody want to fuck with you. Listen, Toya, this here is going to drive a wedge between you and I. Portia is just trying to tell Toya, like, girl, I don't think it's going to work with you and me. Maybe you need to be on Kenya's side. Now, while they out there on the porch, Fallon and Kenya and them come out. And, you know, they was like, what you guys doing out here? And Toya was just like, I think I'm about to leave because the vibe just ain't been right. And Fallon says, well, maybe the vibe ain't right because, you know, when you first got in here, you came in here being disrespectful, talking about, you know, this is what marrying a 65-year-old. See, now she want to confront her. And Toya is like, you know, it was like, to me, it was a missed opportunity earlier. So Toya's just like, oh, whatever, girl, I'm about to leave. So Toya's walking to her car and the girl mentions something and Toya says that she got 3 baby daddies. And you know, she's getting this girl more and more pissed. She's just blatantly being just outright like, I don't give a fuck you. Okay. It was almost as if she might knew her, you know, ahead of time and just decided to attack her. Kenya is embarrassed. She was like, you know, obviously I should have put her in her place a long time ago. You cannot control a Toya. I can look at that and see. You ain't nobody fixed to tell this girl what to do. She does what she wants. Okay. So the shit that she is saying says Fallon got them bags up under her eyes and all this, and Fallon is getting more and more mad. And I'm thinking to myself, like, Fallon, girl, don't let her do it to you. Okay? Listen, you won because you have what she obviously failed at, a successful marriage. It don't matter how old the man is at the end of the day. If you love the man and he love you and y'all wanted to be together and y'all got the kids, even if he is fucking old, you know, even if he might have worms, whatever. If they your worms, his worms, you love them, fine. So now Toya done got in the car and she yelling all kind of offensive shit from the window. And Fallon, of course, can't get to her. They not about to let her do nothing. Like I said, if you didn't jump over the table when she first said that shit, you might as well stop. Okay? So anyway, Candy and them are inside. It's real weird because nobody been in the same room to begin with the whole night. You know, we've been pulling Toya to different rooms to have a conversation with her. You know, she been in there with Kenya and there with Portia. All this. So Candy is sitting at the table and she was just like, ooh, this is real weird. Like, it ain't nothing. Where is everybody? You know, even Portia was just like, what's going on? Wait, did you hear that? Child. Fallon is going crazy. She wants to go beat Toya's ass. Security won't let her go. You know, she's all, let me go. I mean, this is full Love and Hip Hop, not Real House. We ain't seen this kind of activity on Real Housewives of Atlanta since the early Portia days, you know. So she trying and they like, no. And honey, that Fallon must break away from them. I don't really know what the setup is. So I don't know what door they was at, but that bitch came running full force through that kitchen because she was trying to hurry up and get to another location that she knew where she could get out that house and get over there to Toya. It was like, no. They was running after her and everything. And honey, she was flat foot. That bitch was, somebody on Twitter said she's a runner. She's a track star. That bitch was running, honey. One of her snakes had fell out of the ground. Portia was just like, the only reason that I knew that it was Fallon because one of her snakes was on the floor. That bitch was mad. She was trying to get over there. I said, girl, this is some of the funniest shit I done seen on Real Housewives in a long ass time. Oh my gosh, she wanted to get to her so bad. And I was just like, see, first of all, you have got to have a talk with yourself. You're going to be on a show like this, you really have to get your emotions in check. Bitches, especially on Real Housewives of Atlanta, they are very extremely shady. They will push your buttons. They're going to pick at your weaknesses. All of this, okay? You're going to have to know how to, you have to sit with some people and learn some comebacks, and you're going to have to really get your shit together. But I think that this episode was probably what made Fallon just like think about whether or not she really want to be a person on this show, because I think they're trying to bring her in, you know, introduce her in and all of that. Because she has all the other qualities of a housewife, you know, but you can't be fighting. You got to get real swift with your words. You cannot be fighting on the show. That will be your quickest ticket off. So, but when she came running around that corner, I was like, go, Fallon. Woo, that shit was funny. All right, you guys, let me get off of here and get on to work. I'm a few minutes late. Make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'm itsrox. The channel is itsrox. And everything else I do will be in the bottom bar. All right. So I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. And I plan on doing the same. Until next time, rock stars. Bye.